Everybody, welcome to today's video. And today I wanted to have a conversation around the topic of how do you know if the military is right for you? So if you have an opinion and you want to chime in, leave it in the comment section down below. I do read every single comment, and at one point I will respond back to every single question. So I personally believe, right, in the military on a scale of 1 to 10, there is something for everybody, right? Whether you join the Air Force, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, whatever the case may be, there is something for everybody. And one of the biggest mistakes that I personally made is I didn't do my research and look at all the different rates within the military, right? And that's something that I want you to learn from my mistake of not doing the research and looking at the different jobs within every single branch of the military, right? You cannot know, we cannot know how our life and experience is going to be like when you join the military within that specific rate. There's many different factors that could play into this, that you could choose the best job, right? But you could have the crappiest experience for you. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 1 being the most soft-hearted, right? There's people that I know that loves cats and dogs, crazy about cats, and they love knitting, right? To somebody like a 10 who's all about the ideal military life, like combat and shooting people and being shot at, and there's bombs going off everywhere and being in a war zone, right? If you pick the wrong thing, right? Let's say you're close to a 1, right? If you're a 1 and you go to a 10, right? I believe you can agree with me to some degree that your ability to adapt is going to be very difficult, right? It's a huge jump from loving cats and dogs and knitting, and I do know people who loves cats and dog and knitting, to having a gun and being shot at and shoot people, right? And vice versa, right? You get somebody like a 10 and you put them close to a 1, right? And I also do know people like that. They wanted to try out for SEALs and special warfare, but due to some physical defects, such as being colorblind, they weren't able to get that, and they get close to an office job, and then they hate their military experience because they joined for this, but they got this, right? So there's many ends of the spectrum, right? You could fall under. So I want you to, as best as you can, pick a job, right, that you believe that it's going to be the most ideal for you. And what I mean by all the different factors that's going to play into this is it matters, okay? It matters when you join, the timing of when you join, okay? And it matters on who you work with, okay? And it also matters on the place you work in, okay? So the timing, for example, me, I joined as a logistics specialist. I signed my contract sometime 2014 or early 2015. I forgot exactly when. Back then, right? I mean, even if a year before, right, earlier 2014, if I joined, I would have had a 4-year contract. But because I joined at a later 2014 or 2015, early 2015, I had a 5-year contract, right? And that's one of the mandatory things that I had to do, and I signed up. People who are coming in now as logistics specialists come in with a 5-year contract with a signing bonus. I think it was like $6,000 or $8,000, right? So that's something that I missed out. Timing of that I missed out, and that's just one part of the definition of what I mean by timing. And in terms of the people you work with, right? You could be working with the best ideal military type of people, or the other end of the spectrum, you could be working with the crappiest, self-entitled, and people who suck up, and people who rat on each other, people who always constantly fight. You could be working with individuals that you do not see eye to eye, okay? And another factor, like I said, is place, location. Where you work is also important, because I joined the Navy to travel all around the world, right? But the only traveling I've been able to do was out of my own expense. right? My first year in the military, I paid to go on vacation to Korea. Second year in the military, I paid to go on vacation in Florida. Third year, this year in the military, I paid to go on a vacation to Brazil, right? Out of my own money. My ship has not gone anywhere. So, in my opinion, there is absolutely not a single way to know if when you join the military and if you join the military, it's going to be a right decision for you, right? Because like I said, you don't know what timing you join, right? You could join in a time where, you're in combat, right? You could be joining where you are going to a place where you are working with people that you just do not see eye to eye, right? You could be going to a place where you did not want to be, and you're just stuck in that place for 4, 5, 6 years, right? There are people in the military, in the Navy, right? Join the Navy because they want to travel, but I know a lot of people spend 4 or 5 years haven't gone to a single place other than Illinois for boot camp, and then go to Virginia. That's because where the ship is, and the ship isn't going anywhere. So there's many different factors, right? And people who say, "Oh, I loved my time in the military," right? They may have everything placed into their favor, right? And that's how they decipher, and that's how they describe their military experience from their experience, because they joined at the right time, or all these different factors have gone in their favor. But when you join, that's the most important thing. When you join, all these factors may play for your favor, right? Or it may not. It definitely hasn't for me, right? But as Napoleon Hill says in his book, Think and Grow Rich, life is 10% what happens and 90% how you react to it. Within this situation that I'm in, where I didn't join at the right time, and I'm not working with the best people, and I'm not in the best place, how am I going to react to it, right? I can either choose to say, "Oh, this sucks, and I'm not going to do anything to advance my, life outside the Navy. I'm just going to sit here and just wait until my contract blows over." Or I could say, "Hey, I'm not in the best spot right now, but what can I do to advance my life?" So my best advice to you is this: join. You are either going to have a 4, 5, or 6-year contract. Assuming modern medicine is continuing to grow, we can live until 70, 80, 90, to even sometimes 100 years of age. 4, 5, or 6 years is a very small fraction, right? You will never have the what if factor of, hey, what if I joined the military? Would I have liked it? Would I have not liked it? At this point, you can say, "Hey, I'm going to join. I'm going to try it out. If I don't like it, I'm going to quit after an X amount of years. If I do like it, I'm going to stay in a little bit longer, or do full 20 years. And like I said, I was having a conversation with a chief the other day. If he joined at 17, he's going to get out at 38. And if you can live up until 100 with modern medicine, so round it up to 40 to 100, that's 60 years of having a steady paycheck for the rest of your life. So that's a good deal if you look at the big picture, right? So 4 or 5 years of an experiment, whether you like it or not, right? You can kind of try it and understand it. And within that time, right, figure out, hey, how am I going to use the military to get what I want out of my life? Right? Whether it's to travel, whether it's to be with family, whatever the case may be, whatever the goal is, how can I use the military to get to that point? And that's the question that you have to really understand and figure out while you are in the military. But the topic is, hey, how do you know? And like I said, the answer is you will never know. You just have to try it and see if you like it or not. And hopefully all the luck goes on your favor.